sets the scene, settle the scene हो गया है. Before that, I would like to have connection to my laptop so that I can display a few things. HDMI. What's the full form of HDMI? High definition? Something. अच्छा, EMI का फुल फॉर्म बता रहा था क्या? आत्मवान मान्यते जगत, जो आदमी हमेशा सोचता रहता है उसी के बारे में बात करते हैं. आ रहा है क्या? Okay. So we are starting 25 minutes late. Glare is coming. बंद कर दीजिए. Okay. So we will first read the Mahatmya of chapter number 1. This will inspire us to pay attention while reading this chapter. This is taken from the Padma Puran. It's a conversation between Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati. Okay, somebody can start reading. You can. Have you started? Please start reading. Yes, mic liquid पढ़ेंगे.
Mahatmya.
Oh, good.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, all right. And this will lag out.
Okay, read loudly.
Hare Krishna. Mahatmya of chapter 1. Parvati said, My dear husband, you know all transcendental truths, and by your mercy I have heard the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. O Lord, now I long to hear from you the glories of Srimad Bhagavad-gita, which was spoken by Lord Krishna, and by hearing which one's devotion to Lord Krishna increases. Lord Shiva replied, person who that person whose body is the color of a dark rain cloud, whose carrier is the king of birds, Garuda, and who is lying on Anantashesh, the thousand-headed serpent, that Lord Vishnu, whose glories have no limit, I am always worshipping. My dear Parvati, once after Lord Vishnu had killed the demon Mura, he was resting peacefully on Anantashesh, when the bestower of all good fortune of the universe, Sri Lakshmi, respectfully inquired from him.
I think you can try to reduce the volume of this if उसकी वजह से हो रहा है. हाँ, नीचे से पकड़िए. Some strange things happen with mics. कुछ मुहूर्ता वाला प्रॉब्लम है शायद. ऐसे पकड़ो तो ठीक काम करेगा, वैसे पकड़ो तो ठीक काम नहीं करेगा. I have never seen mics working properly, especially in ISKCON. All other organizations, I think, other than ISKCON, they are able to manage this. इसका clip मत बना दीजिए, please.
Bhagavan, you are the controller and maintainer of the whole universe, but yet you are sleeping unhappily on this ocean of milk. What is the reason? Lord Vishnu said, my dear Lakshmi, I am not sleeping, but I am watching how wonderfully my energy is working. It is by this wonderful energy of mine by which I am controlling all things and yet remain separate. And it is by remembering these divine activities of mine that the great devotees and yogis manage to free themselves from the wheel of birth and death and attain that transcendental nature of mind, which is eternal and free from all qualities. Lakshmi said, O controller of all things, you are the goal of the meditation of great yogis. Nothing can go on without you, and yet you are separate. You are the cause of creation, maintenance, and destruction of all the material universes. Kindly inform me about the working of your wonderful energies, which are so attractive that even you are lying here meditating upon them.
So misunderstanding always happens. Here Lakshmi is misunderstanding that Lord Vishnu is sleeping unhappily on this ocean of milk. So Bhagwan, Lakshmi or Vishnu may be misunderstanding थोड़ा बहुत, or lack of understanding, what to speak of common human beings. But they resolve it nicely. अब उसको ऊपर पकड़ के देखिए, आवाज आती है, नीचे से नहीं आ रही.
Lord Vishnu said, my dear Lakshmi, the working of my multifold energies and how to become free from the bonds of birth and death and attain my eternal nature can only be understood by one of pure intelligence, who has an inclination to render service unto me. This transcendental knowledge is fully explained in the Srimad Bhagavad-gita. Lakshmi inquired, my dear Lord, if you yourself are amazed by the working of your energies and are ever trying to fathom their limit, then how is it possible that the Bhagavad Gita can describe those unlimited energies of yours and how to cross over them and attain the transcendental nature? Lord Vishnu said, I myself have manifested in the form of Bhagavad Gita. Please understand that the first 5 chapters are my 5 heads, the next 10 chapters are my 10 arms, and the 16th chapter is my stomach. The last 2 chapters are my lotus feet, and in this way, you should understand the transcendental deity of Bhagavad Gita. This Bhagavad Gita is the destroyer of all sins, and that intelligent man who daily recites 1 chapter of even one sloka, one half sloka, or at least 1/4 sloka, will attain the same position as Shusharma had attained.
Yes, so Sharma has attained something. And even if someone chants one shloka, half shloka, or at least quarter shloka, that means one line of one verse basically.
Lakshmi, 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 Lakshmi inquired, who was Shusharma? What class did he belong to? What destination did he attain? Lord Vishnu said, my dear Lakshmi, Susharma was a very wicked and most sinful man. Although he was born in the Brahmana family, his family had no Vedic knowledge and he only took pleasure from hurting others. He never engaged in the chanting of my names, in giving charity or receiving guests. In fact, he never performed any pious activities. For his livelihood, he collected leaves and sold them in the bazaar. He especially enjoyed drinking wine and eating flesh. In this way, he passed his life. One day, that foolish Sharma had gone to the garden of one sage for collecting leaves, when a snake came and bite him, and he died. After his death, he was cut into many hells, where he suffered for a long time. After which he attained the body of a bull. That bull was purchased by a crippled man, who engaged him in his service for about 7 or 8. 7 or 8 years, he was carrying extremely heavy loads. One day, that crippled man had piled a very heavy load onto the back of his bull. Very quickly, he was forcing that bull along when suddenly the bull fell over and became unconscious. Many persons gathered there to see what was happening. Feeling sorry for the bull, one pious man bestowed upon that bull the results of all of his pious activities. Seeing that other person standing there starting remembering their pious activities and offered the results of some of those activities to the bull to that bull. In that crowd there was also one prostitute who did not know if she had ever performed any pious activities. But seeing everyone else offering their pious credits to that bull,
Next person.
She also offered she also offered the results of any pious activities she might have performed after that. The bull died and was taken to the abode of Yamaraja, the god of death. Then Yamaraja informed him, "You are now free from the reactions of all your previous sinful deeds due to the pious credits given to you by that prostitute." Then he took birth in a very high Brahmana family. In that birth, he was able to remember his past lives. After many days, he decided to search out that prostitute who had been the cause of freeing him from his hellish situation. After he had found and introduced himself to that lady, he inquired from her what were the pious activities performed by you, the fruits of which freed me from my hellish situation. The prostitute replied to him, "My dear sir, in that cage is one parrot which recites something every day. Hearing that recitation, my heart has become completely pure. The results of hearing that recitation I had given to you." Thereafter, they both inquired from that parrot about that recitation. That parrot, remembering his previous life, started to narrate his history. Previously, I had been very learned Brahmana, but due to my pride, I used to insult other learned persons. I was also extremely jealous. After I died, I was cast into many hells, and after a long time of suffering, I achieved this body of a parrot.
Due to my past sinful activities, my mother and father died while I was a baby. One day, while I was lying on the hot sands with no protection, some rishis saw me and took me to their ashram and put me in a cage. At the same place, children of those rishis were learning the recitation, recitations of the first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Hearing them repeat those sloka, I also started repeating those sloka along with them. Shortly after, one thief stole me from the place and sold me to this pious lady. Lord Vishnu continued by reciting the first chapter of this Bhagavad Gita. That parrot had become complete pure, and by hearing that recitation, the prostitute also become completely pure. And by receiving some of the pious results of hearing that recitation, Susarma also become complete pure. After discussing for some time the glories of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Susarma returned to his home, and the three of them individually engaged in reciting the first chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and very quickly attains the supreme destination, Vaikuntha. Anyone who recites, who hears, or studies the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita will very easily cross over the ocean of material miseries and attain the service of the lotus feet of the Lord Krishna.
So this is the Mahatmya of the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Who can summarize this quickly? Whatever you remember. Yes, go ahead.
Vishnu ji told first 5 chapters are head of Lord, and next 10 are arms, 16 is stomach, and last 2 are feet. lotus feet.
So which one do you prefer?
Lotus feet. Last.
17 and 18. The first chapter. Chale jao. Don't attend.
then
All parts of the body of the Lord are transcendental. The Ganges comes from the lotus feet of Krishna. Bhagavad-gita comes from the lotus mouth of Krishna. Which is more important? Mouth or feet?
both are so. Absolutely.
Yes, both are absolute. So, all chapters of Bhagavad-gita are important. There are some people who ignore some chapters. They say, I like this chapter, other chapters, I don't agree with Krishna. That should not be our philosophy. There is no difference between the hand of Krishna, the leg of Krishna, the mouth of Krishna. Meaning, there is difference, but in terms of mercy, all are transcendental. So, yes, summarize what was the Mahatmya.
And then by just recitation of Bhagavad-gita Chapter 1, unknowingly also, and hearing that recitation from a parrot also, one can get free from his all contamination and become pure.
Very good. Anybody wants to add something he missed? Do you want to add? Did he miss something? It was a story inside a story inside a story. कुछ याद आया? Are you inspired to read the Bhagavad-gita Chapter 1 after reading this Mahatmya? तो थोड़ा हाँ या ना बोलिए, ऐसे बैठे आगे. If I am not doing the yes, very nicely said. There is only one need, that is devotional service. I think needful matlab kya? Eating, sleeping. Yeah. So if we do not perform devotional service, you see these people, this person who was born although in a good family but had no good family background, did not study the Vedic literature, he became a meat eater, flesh eater, wine drunker, and then used to collect leaves and sell. So he, after that, went to various hellish planetary systems. Then became a bull. The bull was purchased by a man who could not walk properly, crippled man. So he would put all the load on the bull. For 7 to 8 years, the bull was constantly pulling the load. A very nice life. We see two bulls here, they hardly pull any loads. These are some pious bulls. Although they are bulls, but they are not doing their functionality. Just like some dogs, they don't have masters, they have staff to take care of them. So he was not like that. So the name of this person was Susharma. So then he took birth as a bull and then he died, and many people wanted to give their pious credits to the bull. One prostitute gave one pious credit, so he took birth as a very high class Brahmana after that, and then he started finding out who is this prostitute. And then she said a story that I got this parrot was reciting something. I started hearing that. After hearing the parrot, I became purified. You can ask what the parrot is reciting. So when they went to the parrot said his story. Luckily, all these people were Brahmanas or unluckily. So the parrot was also a Brahmana, but his problem was that he used to criticize people too much, offend other Brahmanas, as a result of which he also went to various hellish planetary systems and then took birth as a parrot. The parrot was fallen on a hot sand, and then the sages took the parrot, put in a cage, and the sons of the sages were reciting first chapter of Bhagavad-gita. That the parrot memorized. Due to that, parrot got purified. From the parrot, prostitute got purified. From the prostitute, Susharma got delivered. So this is the power of the first chapter of Bhagavad. Many people call it as Bhagavad-gita. Is it Bhagavad-gita or Bhagavad? 2-3 people while reading, they were like Bhagavad-gita. Bhagavad-gita hai ya Bhagavad? What is the difference between Bhagavad-gita and Bhagavatam? About it. So is it Bhagavad-gita or Bhagavad-gita?
Bhagavad.
Bhagavad-gita. Many people are सब common कर देते हैं, हम भागवत पढ़ रहे हैं. That's all. उसमें क्या है? ये this is Bhagavad. So Bhagavad and Bhagavad, Vasudev and Vasudev, two different things. Similarly, Bhagavad and Bhagavad, two different things. Don't mix it up. Yes.
How to understand Prabhuji this analogy given by Vishnuji, like 5 chapters are had.
I don't know. You Vishnu is telling, just accept it. How to understand? I don't know. I have Padma Puran, discussion between Lord Shiva, Mother Parvati about the Mahatmya of Bhagavad-gita from Padma Puran. That is the source. So every chapter, for all 18 chapters, Lord Shiva describes some stories like this. So every chapter is unique. Okay, let's start studying chapter number 1 of this great book called Gita Upanishad. Everybody has a book with them? Okay, chapter number 1. It's 8 o'clock. Observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Just a second. For every chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there are some names also. What is the name of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita?
Observing.
Observing the army, यही तो नाम.
क्या?
नाम बोल के नाम पूछ रहे हैं. What is the name of the first chapter? There are different names. If I remember properly, this chapter is called the Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Let me just check.
Yes.
Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Sanskrit names of all chapters of Bhagavad. Yesterday I met one person, he was saying, I'm reading Bhagavad-gita. Bhagavad. So first chapter is called Arjuna Vishad Yoga. Chapter 2 is called as Sankhya Yoga. I'll post the list in the WhatsApp. No need to type. This is just for your reference that these books are not just, they're much more deeper. Vishad, what does the word Vishad mean? Grief. Yeah. And he's doing yoga in grief. Because that grief is also connected, has some connection with Krishna. So therefore it's yoga. I'm just trying to post in WhatsApp. Done. Okay. Observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, or Arjuna Vishad Yoga, or the yoga of Arjuna's dejection. Various names can be given to this chapter. Let's recite. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samavetaayutsavaha. Together. Mamakaha pandavaschaiva kim akurvata sanjaya. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? This question itself is very funny. Somebody is asking, uh, after someone sat down to eat, what did they do? After one lied in the bed to sleep, what did they do? After one, something like that. Desiring to fight means they will fight only. But the purport explains very deeply what is the purport of this question. Please read the purport.
Dhritarashtra said, Bhagavad Gita is the widely read theistic science summarized in the Gita Mahatma, glorification of the Gita. There is say that one should read Bhagavad Gita very scrutinizingly with the help of a person who is a devotee of Sri Krishna and try to understand it without personally motivated interpretations. The example of clear understanding is there in the Bhagavad Gita itself. In the way of the teaching is understood by Arjuna, who heard the Gita directly from the Lord. If someone is fortunate enough to understand the Bhagavad Gita in that line of disciplined succession without motivated interpretation, then he surpasses all studies of Vedic wisdom and all scriptures of the world. One will find the Bhagavad Gita, all that is contained in other scriptures, but the reader will also find things which are not to be found elsewhere. That is the specific standard of the Gita. It is the perfect theistic science because it is directly spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. The topics discussed by Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya as described in the Mahabharata. From the basic principle for this great philosophy, it is understood that this philosophy evolved on the battlefield of the Kurukshetra, which is a sacred place of pilgrimage from the immemorial time of Vedic age. It was spoken by Lord when he was present personally on this planet for the guidance of mankind. The word Dharmakshetra, a place where religious rituals are performed, is significant because on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present on the side of Arjuna. Dhritarashtra, the father of Kurus, was highly doubtful about the possibility of his son's ultimate victory. In his doubt, he inquired from his secretary Chandraya what did they do. He was confident that both his sons and sons of his younger brother Pandu were assembled in that field of Kurukshetra for a determined engagement of the war. Still, his inquiry is significant. He did not want compromise between the cousins and brothers, and he wanted to be sure of the fate of his sons on the battlefield. Because the battle was arranged to be fought at Kurukshetra, which mentioned elsewhere in the Vedas as a place of worship, even for the denizens of heaven, Dhritarashtra became very fearful about the influence of the holy name on the outcome of the battle. He knew very well that this would be influence Arjuna and the sons of Pandu favorably. Because by nature they were all virtuous, Sanjaya was a student of Vyasa, and therefore, by the mercy of Vyasa, Sanjaya was able to envision the battlefield of Kurukshetra even while he was in the room of Dhritarashtra. And so Dhritarashtra asked him about the situation on the battlefield. Both the Pandavas and the sons of Dhritarashtra belong to the same family, but Dhritarashtra's mind is disclosed herein. He deliberately claimed only his sons as a Kurus, and he separated the sons of Pandu from the family heritage. One can thus understand the specific position of Dhritarashtra in his relationship with his nephews. The sons of Pandu, as in the paddy field, the unnecessary plants are taken out
So it is expected from the very beginning of these topics that in the religious field of Kurukshetra, where the father of religion, Sri Krishna, was present, the unwanted plants like Dhritarashtra's sons, Duryodhana, and other would be wiped out. And thoroughly religious persons, aided by the Yudhishthira, would be established by the Lord. This is the significance of the words Dharma Kshetre and Kurukshetre, apart from their historical and Vedic importance.
So, what are some of the important points in this purport? You have to be louder and you have to speak in the mic. First, tell me some important lines from this purport, which you have underlined, which you have taken. Yeah. Sorry, you have to speak in the mic. You're given the mic, he wants to say. Or first you say. Oh, ठीक है, you say.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
ठीक है, mic is not working.
Like is not working. The kshetra itself, Dharma Kshetra. Whomever that Dharma means pious people, they going to be.
See, when the person is speaking in the mic, you should be with him. Don't try to adjust.
Yes, Prabhu.
Your point, sir. Yes.
Yes, Prabhu. The kshetra, wherever the war field is there, the kshetra is for Dharma Kshetra. Whomever the pious people, they're going to win there. The Dhritarashtra, you have that doubt in that.
Okay. Thank you. Some important points from the purport.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, bro. So, it shows the mentality of Dhritarashtra.
Shows the mentality of the Rashtra. Okay.
So, what he was thinking about, he was afraid that due to the influence of place, it will favor Arjuna. And he separated Pandavas from the family lineage. In further purport, we find this. So, it is, he was kind of biased to the Pandavas.
Okay. Yes.
Ruji, 2 points. Like first was like form the basic principle for this great philosophy. So,
What is that basic principle?
basic principle of how to go back to Godhead, soul, and all will come up in Bhagavad-gita. So, Prabhupada mentioned that part. And then Sanjaya was a student of Vyasa, and therefore, by the mercy of Vyasa, Sanjaya was able to envision the battlefield of Kurukshetra even while he was in the room of Dhritarashtra. So, while being away also from that place, he was able to, with the mercy of his Guru, he was able to hold that conversation of Bhagavad Gita.
Thank you.
One point it says, whichever side Krishna is present, victory is for sure on that side.
Okay, you can imply this from the purport. Not specifically mentioned. Is it mentioned?
Where the father of religion, Sri Krishna.
So unwanted plants will be removed. Yeah, it's implied from that. Okay, thank you. Yes, Snehdi Prabhu, after that Mataji's.
Even before going into the actual subject matter of this particular shloka, the most important thing that I could see is that one should read the Bhagavad Gita in the footsteps of Arjuna.
Yes.
So one should read it without any personally motivated
interpretation.
And one should understand the Gita from an acharya who comes in the Guru Shishya Parampara.
Yes. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So this shows what I majorly understood, that Dhritarashtra's mentality about how fearful he was, because he was thinking as Kurukshetra was a holy place, so he was thinking maybe his sons got transformed because of the effect of holy place will come, and maybe if they agree to give some point of land to Pandu, and he don't want to compromise on that. This shows the
Correct.
yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Here the topic, so it is expected from the very beginning of this topic, that is religious field of Kurukshetra, where the father of religion, Sri Krishna, was present, unwanted plants like the trust. We have to dharma, jahan dharma matlab sthapna karna, we have to establish dharma, unwanted things we have to wiped out, like jealous, everything is in the Duryodhana. So where people is there is a Krishna come and they will wipe out this type of things. I understand.
So are we ready to be wiped out?
Difficult for us.
We are also unwanted plants. Okay, please take notes. Dhritarashtra wants his sons to get the kingdom. Most important point. Point number 2, he is doubtful of the possibility of his son's victory, because he knows that his sons cannot defeat the Pandavas because Krishna is on their side. And question comes, why is he still insisting to fight the battle? Because Bhishma is there on the side of his sons. Because Bhishma cannot be defeated by anybody, so he is hoping that because Bhishma is there, so my sons can fight with the Pandavas. However, he is fearful, point number 3, he is fearful because of the holy place of Kurukshetra, that it might influence his sons to make a compromise. However, point number 4, at the same time he is hopeful that under the influence of Kurukshetra, Pandavas may renounce their claim for kingdom and stop fighting. So this is the whole background. These points, they will be able to establish the whole background of this verse number 1. Analogy is the analogy of a paddy field. Throughout the Bhagavad-gita, many analogies will come. You can compile an analogy set. So here the analogy is the kshetra, the paddy field, where unnecessary weeds are taken out. When you will see rice cultivation, the rice plant and the weeds, they look almost similar. If we allow the weeds to grow, the rice plant will be choked. So the weeds have to be pulled out in the right time. A lazy farmer cannot do that. And careless farmer cannot do that. Expert farmer who is not lazy should do this. So similarly, the expert person who is not lazy, that is Krishna, is the farmer here. The weeds are the Kauravas and the rice are the Pandavas, because they are on the path of Dharma. So Krishna will remove the unwanted weeds. Representative of Krishna is spiritual master. So there are unwanted weeds in our heart also. That will be removed by the spiritual master, representatives of the spiritual master like the other devotees also. It is going to be a painful process, but one must be ready for this. Just like killing of all the Kauravas was a painful process for the Pandavas, but the Pandavas were ready for it. So rest of this chapter is a response to this question, just to give pacification to Dhritarashtra, that don't worry, your sons have no intentions to compromise. Even if your sons go in Dharma Kshetra, they will not act as per Dharma, because they are your sons. Some important points from the purport. One should read the Bhagavad Gita very scrutinizingly with the help of a person who is a devotee of Sri Krishna and try to understand it without personally motivated interpretations. What will happen if we do this? He surpasses all study of Vedic wisdom and all scriptures of the world. Why should we say he will surpass everything? Because he will find in Bhagavad Gita those things which are not to be found elsewhere. At the same time, he will find in Bhagavad Gita all that is contained in the scriptures. That is the uniqueness of Bhagavad Gita. That which is there in all scriptures is here, and that which has not been told in other scriptures is also here. So, under guidance of a devotee without personal motivated interpretations, if someone reads it, then they will surpass all Vedic knowledge. So, these are the reasons you should confidently say. Some people will argue, why only Bhagavad-gita? Why not other things? This is the reason. So, after that, the whole mentality of Dhritarashtra is being explained. Yes, Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva. Actually, Dhritarashtra should have said, Pandavas are also my sons, because the elder brother is a representative, the elder brother of father, in the absence of father, takes the role of the father. But he is not treating the Pandavas as his sons. So, Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva. So, he is having this separatist mentality. So, therefore, their sons will be wiped out. Of course, the mercy of Vyasadeva. So, by the mercy of the spiritual master only, one can see all realities. By the mercy of spiritual master, one can see all spiritual realities. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya. So, if you are going, let's say, to Vrindavan, and if you want to see Krishna in the bushes somewhere, what you should do? Huh? Spiritual master, I want to see Krishna, please let me see. Mercy means you have to please Guru first. Mercy will come only when you have pleased the spiritual master, and if the spiritual master is Tattvadarshi, that is also important. If the spiritual master has seen Krishna, then you will see Krishna. However, in the Purport to Maharaj Dhruva section, Srila Prabhupada writes that I hope one of my disciples will become as strong as Dhruv Maharaj and take me back home, back to Godhead, just like Dhruv Maharaj took his mother back home, back to Godhead. So, spiritual master is very humble. Spiritual master is very advanced, but they may not accept. So, the disciple will feel, my spiritual master is not so advanced, but see, I have become advanced. But it is a fact that Krishna arranges the right spiritual master for everybody, provided one is sincere. If one is not sincere, then Krishna will not send the spiritual master. But if one is sincere, one need not worry that the person whom I am taking guidance from is not a very spiritually advanced person. So, therefore, my progress is as limited as to this person. I need a very highly advanced spiritual. I need Krishna himself to guide me. So, don't worry. You make progress in Krishna consciousness, Krishna will send the right people in your life. And if you are feeling I am not with the right person, probably it can be vice versa also. So, don't worry that maybe I am not in the right temple, maybe I am not in the right Bhakti Riksha, maybe I am not in the right guidance. You just be sincere. Krishna will make all arrangements. But if we are only not sincere, then what to do? Dhruv Maharaj became sincere. Krishna immediately sent Narad. This is the way Krishna works. So there is a Chinese proverb, when the disciple is ready, the master appears. So on these notes, let's go to verse number 2. Verse number 2 to verse number 11. It talks about Duryodhana's fear and his expertise in politics, diplomacy. Sanjay Uvacha Drishtva tu Pandavanikam Yudham Duryodhanastada Acharyam Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Abravit. Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, Duryodhana, who is mentioned as King Duryodhana, there is a verse in this chapter, I think it's verse number 20. 16 and 18. If you see, Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthira. Bhagavad-gita calls Kunti Putra Yudhishthira as Raja. But when Bhagavad-gita is referring to Duryodhan, it is not calling Duryodhan as Raja. However, Srila Prabhupada has translated him as King Duryodhan because due to the legacy which he has received from Hastinapur, he is able to command the whole world. Ideally, only that person who has done Ashwamedha Yajna should be called as Raja. Which Yudhishthira has done, Rajasuya Yajna, any Yajna he has done. Technically, Yudhishthira is Raja. But Duryodhana is Raja because his father has given him that position and he has got that legacy of Hastinapur. People like Bhishma, Drona are on his side, so he is called as Raja. But essentially, who is Raja? Yudhishthira is Raja. Okay, King Duryodhana went to his military teacher and spoke the following words. Please read the purport to verse number 2. Which shloka? Could be. Many possibilities are there. Raja. Then he is called as Raja. Correct. I didn't see that. O king. This king is meant for whom? Dhritarashtra or... See, nice discussion. Dishtva tu Pandavani kam Vyudham Duryodhanastata Acharya Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Abravit. Duryodhana. Let me see what other acharyas are translating. This is verse number 2, na?